CSIA recently released the 5th version of the Best Practices and Benchmarks Manual. The best practices are nearly 400 items that CSIA members have developed over 20 years relating to better run system integration businesses. In this brief episode, Remco Kappert of EKB in the Netherlands and Eric Schaefer of Stone Technologies, based in St. Louis, Missouri, helps you understand what changes were made since version 4. This was an in-person interview at our 2018 Executive Conference in San Francisco. Please bear with a bit of a noisy background. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to the Control System Integrators Association's Talking Industrial Automation podcast, where you get to know the people that make modern manufacturing and processing possible. Now, here is your host, Tony Verhoeven.
Thanks for downloading the Talking Industrial Automation podcast. This is a show to help you get to know the people that make modern manufacturing and processing possible. I'll be talking industrial automation with CSIA system integrators and industry partners to get a better understanding of how they help their clients solve manufacturing and process challenges, and how they became successful in their careers. Along the way, we will touch on system integration best practices, technology, trends, and challenges. Whether you are a manufacturer, end user, supplier, or system integrator, I hope you will enjoy the insights CSIA members will bring to this podcast. Hi, it's Tony Verhoeven with CSIA, and I'm sitting here with Remco Kappert of EKB. He's a certified system integrator based in the Netherlands, and Eric Schaefer of Stone Technologies, based certified system integrator in St. Louis, Missouri. So thanks, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thanks, Tony.
Nice.
You guys are on the Best Practices Committee, right? Yeah. And you guys were instrumental in the last several years of updating the Best Practices Manual. And the Best Practices Manual, we just released the version 5.0, and that has been around for 20 plus years, right? So version 5.0 every 3 or 4 or 5 years or so. You guys are busy guys, and you're running a business, so nobody pays you to update the manual or anything like that. So it gets done when as a hobby or as a passion, right? So we appreciate that work that you guys do. And so it's been released, and so there's been quite a few changes, and also I think some reorganization to the manual. So the purpose of this message was just to give some people, existing integrators, certified integrators, and maybe also up and coming integrators that might want to think about looking at the best practice manual and looking at the new one and potentially getting certified to look at the new manual and find out what the new changes are. So let's talk about that first, Eric. Because what are some of the changes? Give us first, actually, let's back up a little bit. What are the best practices? If somebody's brand new to this and just happened upon this, give us a high level of what the Best Practices Manual and CSI certification is.
Well, to me, the Best Practices is a resource tool for how to run your business. It's a collection of the intelligence of a large number of members over the years have put together their thoughts about how to run a system integration business, how to what should be done as far as a business to cover everything from HR, success planning, strategic planning, all the way through project implementation, execution, working with your clients, contracts, terms and conditions. It's really an all-encompassing best practices to run a system integration business.
Okay, and so I've heard that a CSI certification has maybe some overlap with ISO, and a lot of people probably internationally know ISO. So what are kind of the main differences between a certification from CSIA and an ISO certification?
I think Remco could answer that much better than I can.
We've been ISO certified for many years. ISO is a more general quality management system, and CSIA, the best practice, is really specified for a system integrator. So the bakery on the corner of your town can be ISO 9001 certified, but our company too. But there's a very huge difference between the processes we all run. So it's much more useful to have a CSIA certification for a system integrator than an ISO 9001.
Okay.
And I would add that it's written by system integrators. It's written by system integrators for system integrators. So it's pretty specific to what we have to face every day in our business.
Right. So you guys understand what you do and so the things that you face, whereas some other body out there writing.
We hope to know what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about now specifically what has actually changed. So 2012 or something like that. That was, I think, the version 4 when that was released. What's changed at a high level? I mean, obviously, a couple hundred pages or whatever it is, but just kind of give us some bullet points of like some of the things that you guys have added or changed since version.
Well, the primary thing was to make it better, make it more organized, to explain things that might have been confusing in the version 4, or just feedback from people who got certified or have been using the manual to tell us what needs to have more detail or more input. So we've added consolidated section on systems and added cybersecurity. We addressed health and wellness. We addressed corporate responsibility. We really revamped marketing. We brought in some resources that were trained marketers, or they had their degree in marketing, so they added the input as far as what's the proper way of doing that. And then we tried to reorganize to kind of make it a better flow and put sections where system owners for our system management might all have all their relevant sections together. And then just try to organize it as well to make sure that we were addressing our increased international membership to make sure it's more globally relevant to their businesses as well.
Okay, great. So Remco, you're in Netherlands, right?
You're right.
In Europe. So what are some of the things that are in the best practices that are, I guess, relevant to
well, we made some changes into the corporate social responsibility. There are clients who require in the Netherlands that you really already work with that. It's also good practice for your own company, of course. So that was implemented. There's some more priority to safety, health, and environment. What we also did is there's in the Netherlands there's a standard which is called VCA for safety, and we compared that standard with the standards here in the US and got the best practice out of both standards and implemented that into the new best practice manual, version 5.
Excellent. So that's actually kind of a good high level of what's changed. Looking ahead another 3 to 5 years, what does version 6 look like? What are some of the things you guys couldn't do it all? And GDPR is coming. It's April. It's a few weeks away. It's 2018 right now. You probably haven't handled that. Is that something you're going to handle in the future? Are there other things that are going on in the world or that you just couldn't handle in version 5.0?
Well, certainly there's always, we try to make sure we get it out on the time. And one of the things we have feedback now is we need to address that more system integrators are doing more service and support type work in addition to their traditional project work. So we have to beef that section up, and cybersecurity's there, but we expected that's going to be a bigger part of it. We need to add more material to it. That in section 6, since it's a new section, so we'll get more feedback there as we get more audits going on. There's other requirements, I guess, as far as from our international members as well that we could potentially use.
Yeah, like the GDPR, which we are dealing with in Europe. So if the cybersecurity, we can add more items to that section on getting
it's protecting our clients' data and
on getting to protect our clients' data. Getting to protect the personal information of our clients. If they ask us to delete their information out of our database, you really have to be able to do that. And there's a lot of very classified information that we get from our customers, so that must be safe in our company too.
Sure. So. Okay, so I'm in marketing, and so my understanding of GDPR in my world is mostly has to do with visiting the website, collecting data around the website, and their visiting and their contact information and things like that. But it sounds like GDPR, as far as from system integration and manufacturing, it goes way beyond that, right? So you're talking about somebody's data and maybe retaining that. So maybe, I don't know, maybe talk a little bit about that. What kind of other things we don't have in GDPR? conversation, but that's a whole nother conversation. But is there like, what kind of data would you need to delete? Is it like manufacturing?
Every personal data that can be related to an individual. That's even the license plate of a car, because if you have the license plate, there are certain databases that you can connect to you. So even that is personal data. And if you manage that data, you have to maintain a register and tell it why do you maintain that data and for how long. And what are the methods how you are going to delete it. There are a lot of items you have to clarify. There are instances that can come over to your company and check if you are doing it right or wrong. And if it's a big mistake what you're doing, or the personal information gets on the street, they will give you a fine of 4% of your revenue. So that's quite something.
Excellent. Well, we could do a whole podcast and a whole other video about GDPR and system integration. That'd be a whole other thing, but we won't cover that.
Later.
That's something to be aware of. The system integrator should be aware of things to look out, even though it may not be specifically covered in best practices right now. There's certainly some technologies that you should be aware of that will be coming and in the future version as well. So,
for sure,
yes. Gentlemen, anything else that I missed that we should be talking about within this new release?
I think the one thing we need to make sure of is that it's aware that it's released. It's on the connected community, so members can download it. And we are looking for feedback. So we're looking for our members to look at it, ask questions about it, to give us their ideas of what we're missing, what the content's there, and their feedback on that, but also what's missing. What do we need to include in version 6? Or in case something is confusing, we have the opportunity to release a 5.1, a minor revision during the process of the next 3 years to make sure that we cover it properly.
Right. Great.
Wonderful.
Again, and also, as far as the best practices manual, you can download it from the connected community, as Eric mentioned. It is a member benefit, so you'd have to log in and go to the member community, member library, and download that from the best practices and manual library. It says members only on it, and you'll be able to download that from there. So take a look at that. Thanks, gentlemen. I really appreciate
Thank you.
Your time and sitting down with me.
Thanks,
Tony.
Right, take care.
Bye.
Take care.
If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Help others find us by sharing your favorite episode with a colleague and give us a rating in iTunes. Visit CSIAexchange.com/podcast for a full list of episodes. Contact us at podcast@controlsys.org. podcast@controlsys.org. Thanks to bensound.com for the music.
Thanks for listening to the Talking Industrial Automation podcast. Read the Industrial Automation blog and find and research qualified system integrators at CSIAexchange.com. For more information on why your system integrator should be CSIA certified, visit controlsys.org. controlsys.org.